Okay, so wanted to talk a little bit about so Kenji was a sensation in the NWA, WCW, whatever it was at the time. Um, and then it all accumulated into Dad eventually going nuts a
Yeah.
little bit at Starrcade '89 because Dad had Kenji over. You know, not obviously not taking anything away from Kenji. He was so talented, but Dad was the brains behind it. He had him so over, and it came down to Starrcade '89, and the office said that they wanted to beat Muta 3 times in one night. It was the Iron Man tournament, and it drove Dad nuts. So you you say it kind of started at the I Quit match
Mm-hmm.
with Terry and Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how does that how does that work into Muta
Well,
losing 3 times?
because that's around the time where they started doing the promos for, and this was probably the worst built and conceived Starrcade concept, not just for a pay-per-view, but for an infomercial. It was not a good idea
Yeah.
because it was no one understood it because all of a sudden you saw like this logo and this music and it said Future Shock, Night of the Iron Man. Like, well, what is this?
Mm.
It was going to be everybody was going to wrestle everybody. The top four heels in the company, which were the top four singles guys, which was Ricky Flair, Sting, Kenji, Great Muta, and Lex Luger. And then it was going to be the top four tag teams at the time. And so the concept was everybody's going to wrestle everybody. So now I'm 12 years old. They said Ric Flair will wrestle Lex Luger, Ric Flair will wrestle Sting, Ric Flair will wrestle the Great Muta. The Great Muta will wrestle Lex Luger, the Great Muta will wrestle Ric Flair, the Great Muta will wrestle Sting. Lex Luger will wrestle Ric Flair, Lex Luger will wrestle Sting, Lex Luger will wrestle Great Muta, and Gary Hart may get in a dipsy dumpster with Terry Funk, whatever the case. Now I'm as a 12-year-old boy, a little kid, thinking, wait a second, Muta's thing is undefeated, right? And you mean he's going to have to go over? Yeah, yes, 12-year-old kids who were smart to the business, who grew up like me, thought about things like this. Wait a second, there's going to be. I started to get a very, very uneasy feeling, thinking, the jig could be up here because, they've been trying to come up with ways to beat him, and this might just be the thing. So at the Clash that night, it could have been Terry Funk, too, would have been one of the singles guys, because if he would have beat Ricky for the belt, which he didn't. But that night, that's when they first started airing promos for the Iron Man.
The New York Knockout Clash.
And then at several of the tag matches, they had the Road Warriors run out there with Doom and the Steiners and the Freebirds.
Are you talking at the Clash?
Yes. Okay. To try to put in, to get their picture in everybody's mind. Oh, all these tag teams are going to be fighting each other. Right. So they had a run-in at the end of the match with Sting and with Ricky and Terry Funk, the I Quit match. They had a run-in with that, getting all the participants involved to try to put across that these guys are all going to be at each other's throats on December the 12th or 13th in the Omni, whenever it was. But the fact went back to the number one. It was no one could really understand it. It was like 20 points for a pin, 15 points for a disqualification. They give you 5 points if you showed up. Just something ridiculous, because it came from the mind of Jim Herd and other executives who didn't understand wrestling. So they gave the booking committee something to try to figure out. It was thrust upon them. But going back to the fact, if you have one of the hottest guys in the company, in the business, going to be in a tournament where he's got to wrestle 3 times, there's only one of two things you can do. You can either have him go over all 3 times, or you can beat him once. But if you beat him once, that's kind of stupid. So that's why when they told Dad, hey, they want to get such and such over tonight and such over tonight, they like to beat Muta twice. Dad goes, well, why don't we beat him all 3 times? What? Because it's so unusual. So it didn't end up happening. He lost twice and got a disqualification from Lex Luger.
So Dad, when they came to Dad, originally they said, we just want to beat Muta like what, once?
Yeah, and Dad said, well, why don't we just do him all 3 times?
Okay.
Because so that's how that happened. And then Dad just
I remember
because Nick Patrick said they want to get Muta to lose the first 2, and Dad said, well, why don't we beat him all 3 times? And Nick went, Gary, why? And that's because it's so unusual.
Right.
Dad was already, but Dad had already been upset when Kenji was homesick. He wanted to go back home, I guess, because he was used so well by that office when he was over there. He's here now. He's really getting over. He's really making a lot of money. He's one of their top guys. And you had His papers were in limbo. We didn't have him. The office did. The office wanted to beat him. The Japanese office might have thought it was Dad's fault. There was too many moving parts to this entire thing for this to end other than bad.